Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be trying Money Trees. It's an India Pale Ale from Storm Peak Brewing Company out of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Thanks for joining us. Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. We're back to do that once again. As always, I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. I am Ben. What are we drinking today, gentlemen?
Money Trees. It's from Storm Peak Brewing. Sounds like a good IPA.
Morning Money Trees. All right. We've had a few of Storm Peak. Thanks to somebody going to Steamboat.
Oh, Ben, have you ever been to Steamboat?
A few times, yeah. I don't know why you would think I'd been, though.
Just having the glass and the shirt.
Means nothing.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Wow, the flavor makes so much sense based on the type of malt that's in this.
Do tell.
I want to see, before I tell, this is an IPA. After you taste it, what is your first impression?
Pine. Are you asking for what I taste, or are you asking for what I think?
What?
You rate this already?
No. Do you if you were to blind taste test this, didn't know it was IPA, what would be your first?
I taste bubblegum.
Yes. Bubblegum beer.
I've actually had one. Abita did an IPA that tasted like bubblegum.
I think this is, I'm thinking West Coast-ish, but not quite there.
All right, you're not quite there. This is an American IPA. 6.4%, 47 IBUs. Hops uses Simcoe, Chinook, and Mosaic. The malt, and this is where it made me like, oh yeah, I get it. Pilsen, Vienna, C15. That Pilsen and Vienna make it, to me, taste a lot similar to like a Pilsner. But you weren't wrong on the flavors. It has flavors of pine, lemon, citrus, and with a dry finish. So similar to some type of Pilsners.
I think I'm getting that C15. I think that's what's coming.
I did not know what a money tree was. Did y'all? Y'all ever heard of a money tree?
I mean, other than does money grow on trees? You know, what you tell your kids, or you get told by your parents at some point.
Mm-hmm. We found out it does not. But there's this type of tree that people, it's from South and Central America, that people put in like their apartments and their offices. They put in planters meant to bring good fortune, based on this this story of a poor man who prayed for money. Prayed for money, found this odd plant, took it home as an omen, and made money selling plants from its seeds. Money tree. A lot of times it's got a braided, not branch, trunk. Yeah, it's like, if it's in a plant, can it be if it's a small planter, it's technically a trunk, and
Yeah.
But That's what I like. If for more specifically, the Pachira aquatica is the scientific name for it.
So almost like a bonsai tree in a lot of ways.
Doesn't look like it, but it can be small, it can be large. Yeah. So that's the beer. I had to go to websites other than Storm Peaks because I remember this from when we did a couple other beers. They don't say nothing about there's the can gave some of the information, and I went to a secondary, site that kind of reviewed it, and or I went to news clippings. I just put in the brewery and some news article about the brewery, interviewing the owner. So Steamboat Springs, Colorado is where it is. It's a microbrewery founded in 2013. It was named, let's see, I think it started by two brothers. They have two locations, but Storm Peak Brewing is named after a mountain in Colorado. And that's it.
And it's one there in Steamboat. So,
there's two locations in Steamboat.
What I'm saying is the mountain that's named after is in Steamboat.
Oh, so yeah.
Have you skied it, Ben?
The Storm Peak? Yeah. Yeah, I've skied everything in Steamboat. I've been going there for 35 plus years. Haven't gone every year, but have gone most years in that time period.
Oh, you're old.
Yeah, I am. So, been going there for a long time. So, neat place. It's definitely changed a lot, as any places typically will do in that time period. But it used to be a nice, quiet, quaint place, and it still is a nice place, but it's gotten more busy. So definitely has changed. But I like it. We'll probably go back next year. Don't see why
next year.
No,
Yeah.
Next year. Yeah. So I have not been to the brewery though. When you go skiing, you spend all day on the slopes. An old guy like me, I'm kind of tired. I really just want to go back to the condo, have a few beers, maybe get in the hot tub and call it a day, get ready for the next day. So it's kind of hard to make it downtown, to where the brewery is. Don't always really feel like it. So I haven't made it there yet, but hopefully I will someday, hopefully. All right. That's all we got on this one. The one other thing I wanted to say about Storm Peak is we've done some of their beers already. And the things that had drawn me to their beers before were their Seinfeld references. So we did Maestro previously. We did, what else did we do?
Urban Sombrero.
Urban Sombrero, yes. Thank you, Andy. So they have others that we have not done that are similarly themed. So definitely for our show, Uchimama is one. Yep.
Oh, do you remember the one that we did review, but somebody didn't hit record? That was doomed from the start.
No, I don't remember. That was the one that had where Jay's exploded in the car.
Jay couldn't have participated because his exploded in the car.
When he was driving, by the way.
Yeah.
So Jay thought he was shot.
It was quite the experience.
The top
I was actually driving for our brewery tour.
Yep. Yeah, and then Andy, yours was about to explode itself. So must have been something special about that batch. Just itching to get out of the can. All right, let's go around and review this one. Andy, why don't you go first tonight?
As I said earlier, drinking this, it tastes more like a Pilsner. It's got that hoppiness to it on the front end, very floral to me, and mildly bitter on the back. It's not a bad beer. It's still a good beer. It's just like I wouldn't have guessed IPA initially drinking it, but it's light. It's crisp, refreshing. It doesn't feel too dry to me, as I said, but I get a little bit of the pine, I guess, lemony to it. But 7.0, it's an easy drinker.
All right, Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. It if you were to do a blind taste test, I wouldn't have said that this was necessarily an IPA, and if I would, it'd probably be more like a session or something like that. Just
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy drinking. I mean, it's gone down very quickly. It does still, to me. I don't know. There's a few beers that do this where they have that bubblegum flavor to them, and this one has it to me. You guys might not get that, but I don't get a lot of pine out of this. I mean, a lot of those West Coast you will get pine. Um, I do get a little bit of the lemon, but it's it's got a different flavor because of the way that they've blended the hops with those malts. Um, I'm not thrilled with it, but it's easy, smooth drinking. I think I'll probably stay the same as you. 7.0. It's not something I'm going to search out, but I'll drink it. And if you hand me another one, I'll drink it.
What if I hand you a third one? Are you going to drink
I'd
it?
probably
gonna
drink
drink
it.
it. He's gonna drink it.
All right.
Free
Just wanna
beer,
make
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
drink it.
All right. So I get the pine, as I noted earlier. I mean, the first few sips, that was the predominant flavor to me. It's not necessarily, it definitely wasn't West Coast in the sense that it was overbearing, but it was, to me, there. It was kind of headed in that direction. Um, and that was a predominant flavor that I got out of it. I mean, it's kind of calmed down a little bit now, as beers generally do once you've had a few sips of them. And it is definitely easy to drink. It's crisp. It goes down pretty easy. Um, I think as it goes. Yeah, I mean, like Jay said, I'm going to drink it if somebody hands it to me. Am I going to have to? Am I the next time I go to Steamboat? Am I going to buy another one? Me being not the IPA guy on this show, at least, probably not. I'm probably going to skip it. But I would drink it again if it's if I go out to Steamboat and they've got this with a bunch of macros, then I'm definitely going to order this instead. All in all, 7 was my number as well. Even before you mentioned it, Andy, that was kind of where I came out. I think that's going to be easy math for us on this one. But I think it's been a decent beer, and yeah, you hand me one, I'll drink it.
I'd be curious, Ben, if you do go back and you actually get a chance, even if it's not going to the brewery, but maybe a restaurant or somewhere. If you have some some of the Storm Peak Brewing on draft, what the difference is between this versus draft, because I'm sure it's vastly different. Not vastly different, but as we all know, anytime you get anything on draft and it's fresh, it's got a much more crisp and more flavorful. So
Yeah, I think I think I've mentioned this maybe to you guys privately off air here. In going out to Steamboat, you go out on the mountain, and me being a beer lover, I want to see all the local beers because there are 2 or 3 breweries in Steamboat, and I've been to one of them, and you just don't. I mean, if there's a bar there that we go that's to the base of the mountain, there's a restaurant bar slash. It probably has, I don't know, about 12 to 15 beers on tap. Most of them are not from
yeah,
from Steamboat. There's probably 2 that are. There's probably half the beer is some sort of macro or something that everybody would kind of recognize, and the other half is probably Colorado beer. So from Breckenridge to
they're
Napa
appealing to the
Valley, yeah.
masses.
Yeah. So the bigger Breckenridge Brewery is a big. You can
It's a
find
macro.
that on the mountain, right?
Yeah,
So it's one that's pretty prevalent. I think the one beer that I had on draft when I was out there this last trip in February was Hoochie Mama. There's the sour from Storm Peak. I think it was the only time I saw it on draft the whole trip I was out there. So I obviously grabbed it at that point. I remember it being good, but I'd never had it previous, so I didn't have that. I wasn't able to make that comparison between can and draft. But all in
Well,
all,
something like this with the different pills and the hops. So I don't know.
yeah, this one would be a lot more interesting on draft, I think, versus the sour potentially. But all in all, I think they have interesting beer, and anytime you can reference Seinfeld, I know you're probably Andy and I are probably going to buy it. So
if he doesn't fall asleep, but yeah.
Biting it.
What do you say? What do you know? That's going to be a 7.0 for Money Trees from Storm Peak Brewing Company out of Steamboat, Colorado. Definitely an interesting beer with the way they mix the hops and the malts. And I think it's one that I'm at least glad we got to try and talk about today. So appreciate you guys checking out this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell so you can be notified of all our videos in the future. And check us out on social media down below, as well as come say hey in our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. Have you ever been to Steamboat? If you have, come let us know. Jump into our Discord server and chat us up. Let us know that. Lastly, you had any interesting Hopped Up Beer Review merch? We have shirts, we have glasses, we have bottle openers. We've got some other things there. Go check that out. Stickers. Go check that out and grab something from our store. Randy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates. So is there an actual steamboat in Steamboat?
Glad you asked. The name comes from when the settlers were coming through the town for the first time, they heard a bubbling spring, and it sounded like that of a steam engine that you would find on a steamboat. So they called it Steamboat Springs. And there are a lot of hot, what do you call them? Hot springs there in Steamboat. So, yep.
So no steamboat.
There's no real lake or river or anything there. No, at least it's not that I've seen in the winter. Put it that way.
Your shirt is so misleading.